At first, humans lived in small groups, wandering the land in search of food, moving with the seasons and following animals. For thousands of years this was the way of life, until people began to learn how to grow plants and raise animals. Around great rivers like the Nile and the Tigris and Euphrates, fertile soil and fresh water made it possible for families to settle in one place. With reliable crops, they no longer needed to wander, villages grew, and life began to change. In these river valleys, farming communities blossomed into thriving towns. People discovered tools and techniques that made farm work easier. They built irrigation systems to bring water to fields, and with more food available, populations grew. Over time, some of these villages became the world's first great cities. In Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, cities like Uruk and Ur rose from the mud of the floodplain, full of bustling markets, temples, and workshops where craftsmen shaped clay, metal, and wool into useful objects. As life in cities became more complex, people needed ways to keep track of goods, laws, and history, so writing was born. In Mesopotamia, scribes pressed wedge-shaped symbols called cuneiform into clay tablets, recording everything from trade transactions to stories of gods and kings. In Egypt, along the life-giving Nile, a different script took shape, hieroglyphs carved into stone and written on papyrus, capturing the deeds of pharaohs and the rhythms of religious life. Farther east, along another great river valley, the Indus River nurtured the Harappan people, who built wide, straight streets and sophisticated drainage systems in cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. These people developed their own system of symbols and engaged in trade with distant lands, showing that communication and commerce were already shaping a connected world. Across the seas and mountains, in distant lands, other societies were also rising. On the island of Crete, the Minoans built palaces filled with art and vibrant frescoes, and their seafarers carried goods and ideas across the Mediterranean. In the Indus Valley and in China's Yellow River Basin, complex societies grew with unique traditions, beliefs, and political structures, each contributing threads to the tapestry of early civilization. Through trade routes, war, alliances, and exploration, these early civilizations expanded their reach and exchanged knowledge. Laws were written, temples and pyramids were built, and stories of heroes and rulers passed from generation to generation. By the time the Great Persian Empire rose, spanning from the Mediterranean to Central Asia, humans had already moved far beyond simple villages. They had built world systems capable of supporting millions of people. In the end, this age of great beginnings laid the foundations for all later human history. Farming made cities possible, writing made memory possible, and trade and communication made the world smaller. These first civilizations, though separated by geography and culture, shared a remarkable journey, from scattered farmers on riverbanks to builders of mighty cities and empires, and set humanity on the path that leads to the world we live in today.